Welcome back to The Final Authority. I'm Lynette Johnson, and on the panel with me are Brian Isaac Marshall and Jalissa Hall. Today we're discussing superstars and their relationships with the law. Now, why do black men in the limelight continue to set themselves up for failure? Can anyone answer that?
Well, I'm a black man, and I'm not setting myself up for failure, so I can't answer the black men who set themselves up for failure. But I just, I really just hate to put a blame on anything, because when you're a grown man, you can't blame anybody but yourself. And so I don't know, like, you can't blame your childhood if your dad went there. That's not an excuse, because you should be able to look at that situation and be like, okay, yeah, my dad went there, but I want to do better.
But the thing
what?
We said that.
Yeah, everyone doesn't do it, and a lot of people do not know how.
What do you mean?
Like, oh, because I don't have my father in my life, I'm gonna do better. Like, everybody deals with everybody copes with things differently. You can't just go to your child and say, oh, your daddy's not here.
So the way you cope with that is going out buying Uzis, or going out and having dogs, hanging dogs and stuff. Now I'm talking about Michael Vick now.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm talking about that's how the reason do you cope with your dad not being there is hanging the dogs for losing, let them kill each other.
Now, Michael Vick's
that's how you do
situation is totally different.
They still set themselves up for failure.
Well, hold on. I wouldn't say that they set themselves up for failure purposely. Like I said, that goes to a mentality thing. Sometimes, like, the mentality can be that messed up. They do things, it's setting them for failure, but they don't even know it.
So why
at times. So it's not them setting themselves up purposely, because no one wants to set themselves up purposely. No one wants to do that. Even those that go out and hustle and sell drugs, no one wants to do that.
All the money that they are making, why would you need to be doing some dog fighting, and why would you need to be out selling drugs? Why would you need to be out there doing this when you're making mega $1 million? Why do you still have to go back in that type of environment?
There's no class.
You're giving them the excuse like they don't know no better. So you mean to tell me you have, no matter how many millions you get a game, you know what I'm saying? Even when you lose, you still get money. But you're not conscious, so you just, you set up the pins, get the dogs together. Like, you don't know, you're just having a good time. No, you have enough money to make a difference. And instead of doing something stupid, you can be putting somebody through college, doing something, because I need money, but doing something way more profitable other than doing something stupid that's gonna get you in jail.
So maybe he doesn't care. So how do you make him care? Maybe he doesn't care.
Well, I think black men. I think some black men, not all. I think some black men set themselves up for failure. However, I think that some of these black men should take into account that this is where I came from, but I don't want to set up the next generation for failure. So I'm going to be different. But no, what did they decide to do? Continue the same trait of ignorance.
You know what? I feel when you said that, I feel like with that, personally, I feel that black men need more responsibilities. And if they had more responsibilities, they would think more. They would think carefully. They would be smarter.
What responsibilities?
For example, let's see. Just having more, when I say more responsibilities, as far as more, knowing people need them, people want them, that they can help someone. That's what I mean. When you have a lot of guys that do hit the street life, join the gangs, those are all the reasons.
Lynette, there's a lot of preachers out there who come from the same neighborhoods that these men come from. But they knew better to make the decision. I don't want to live like this. I want to help people. You're not helping people by first of all, still hanging out and doing the same things you did before you got to your celebrity, doing these same activities, the same mentality. Change your mentality. Try to go back and help your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not thinking. They don't care about the next generation.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't care.
They're not thinking, and with that, because it's not just one thing. It's never just one thing. It's not. Along with them, really going out to do something, they need to be more educated. They need more responsibility. It's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. It's a number of things.
I think they first need to get some sense into their mind.
That's definitely.
And you can't get that from nobody but yourself.
but someone needs to teach you how to start
Okay,
so you
well,
can
you-
continue.
30 years
Everybody
old.
had that opportunity though. Like he said, like it was some preachers, ministers, or whatever that came from the same background, and they didn't have that person to say you can do it. But they made up in their minds and in their selves to say, you know, I'm going to do better.
Because
So
they are
there's-
different kind of people. They are different kind of people.
It's just having like Brian said, having common sense and knowing that
But
I
hold
need to
on.
do better.
Everybody does not have common sense. Now, when you say that everyone doesn't have common sense, people do things people would do things and you're like, why shouldn't they have done that? It's common sense. But everyone doesn't have common sense.
Well, I know that,
Some people need more support. Some people just can have themselves to give them that strength to continue with something else. And some others do not have that. Some people need that boost.
But are you out of all
Some people.
their life, these black, not just the Michael Vick and T.I., but you can tell me out of all their life, no one told them from right and wrong, and no one tried to tell them, this and that, tried to help them along the way. So I just really think that they just really do not even care about their life. They don't care about their children's life. They don't care
That
about
could be it.
the men in their family. They just don't care about their friends or their hang. They don't care. They do not care.
They
But
don't
you know
think.
what?
They
But
don't
you know what?
think.
I don't just blame the black men. I also blame the media because the
Definitely.
media don't have a lot of positive black images. So people who don't have, mentors or have fathers in their life, they don't have an image to look at to say, ooh, I want to be like that person. You know what I mean? And I think, I do think that black men, who are doing good for themselves and who are, who didn't let, their past or, who had good role models, I think they should even do more to try to help because honestly, someone who coming from that background, it's only so much that they can do.
Right.
Because they had nobody help them. They can, try their best, but I think others, should help them also.
And that's the problem. They're not. Everybody's not coming together. And then when these young guys do get in line, like people, like I said, they think just because money doesn't change everyone. Just because you get all this money, oh, I'm supposed to live like this, I'm supposed to live like that. No.
But my thing is, I'm not talking about the money, but I'm talking about the image. You are an image on the television screen,
Right.
which all these young people look up to, and you are an influence to a lot of people. When you ask a young person who's your influence, and they say
They're gonna
T.I.
say
and all this
T.I.
stuff,
Right.
are
They're
you
gonna say
serious?
Jeezy. Right.
So to me, that just made me even more scared because that just made me think there's gonna be some more little T.I.s going out buying
course.
Uzis and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably.
And
Probably.
who gonna be going to school with my children?
Probably.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm just
Right.
not comfortable with
Right.
that at all.
That goes, even us, I don't know if you guys caught, Hip Hop versus America on BET, but it's just some of the things they were saying, like, well, my kid goes to private school, so, but she's popping and locking, dropping with everybody, but you have to understand the market that you're reaching. You're reaching those people that are in the ghetto, don't have nothing. Actually, you were one of them. So they're looking up to you, so that brings me back to, how it was back then, and look at where you are now, and you have the audacity to do these kinds of things and not do anything positive, and you have kids, you have your own kids to look at, you don't think, I don't understand what's in their mind, like there's no excuse.
Well, when T.I. said that, as far as more, because I actually, I was watching it when he said that, his daughter pop locking and dropping, all that. The one thing that T.I. has that a lot of children in the hood who parents don't have is to actually separate them from that, where he have money to put them in that environment that, the private schools she go to. And a lot of them don't. Like I said before, some of them don't think. A lot of times they don't think beyond themselves. So to wrap things up, thanks for tuning in. The Final Authority is produced by students in the Mass Media Arts Department of Clark Atlanta University. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at CAU-TV-talk@yahoo.com. And remember, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but we have the final authority. Thanks.